What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach. Welcome back to another video. In this particular video, we're doing another climb before and after. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. This one is going to be a good one. So without further ado, let's go do this thing. Alright guys, so welcome back to another climb before and after video. In this particular video, let's talk about the main point, which was low point control. Specifically, this client was struggling with a low point slightly behind the golf ball. And then from there, if he let the club drop all the way down to the ground, he'd duff it. Or another case, which was common for him, he'd start to kind of lift the club up by lifting the handle and raising the handle, and he'd actually hit a little bit of a thin shot. So whenever he was on the course and he started to get a little bit off of his golf swing, he really, again, struggled with that low point, inconsistent strikes, which makes him a high handicap golfer. So let's go take a look at the early transition, because this is going to be really the main thing that was setting him up to really struggle with this low point. Okay, so specifically in early transition, what we're going to be looking at is going to be the way the club shaft starts to move down towards the golf ball. This is really important for you high handicap golfers, even you mid handicap golfers out there. If you're not controlling the pitch or the movement of the club shaft, as well as kind of the rotation of the club shaft, which will open and close the face, you're probably going to struggle with your low point as well as your direction, which for you high handicapper and mid handicap golfers out there, you're really trying to get rid of the big misses, right? The OBs, you're trying to get rid of the big duffs that only go about 5 yards or the tops that only go about 10 yards. You're just trying to get into a model where every shot is maybe not the best shot, but at least it's advancing down the fairway, and again, you're not duffing or topping it. So if you want to do this successfully, you need to control the club shaft, and this example right here in this before swing is an example of what you don't want to do. Okay, so as we can see in this next little section here, these two blue lines are intersecting themselves, which means his club shaft is now steepening. If the blue line was going a little bit more in the opposite fashion, kind of like this, that would actually be flattening, or you could call it shallowing of the golf club, which he is not doing. He is definitely steepening the club shaft here. Now, as we kind of continue down, we're going to see that the club shaft is even further increasing its steepening motion. And then as we go down a little bit more, it's increasing even more, right? So before position 6, but past P5, he's in a club shaft position where if he continues to kind of move the club shaft without really steepening or flattening, what's going to happen is the sweet spot is going to come into the very far right side of the golf ball. He's going to have to swipe across, which means the sweet spot will only be in line with the golf ball for a short period of time. Difficult for him to have good contact. However, interesting enough, which I see some of you guys also do this, however, this is a little bit more on the severe case. What this client actually starts to do from here is he actually starts to raise his handle, raise his hands, which then pushes the club head a little bit more back to the inside of the golf ball. However, it compromises the handle height, which then when you're compromising handle height, you're letting the club drop to the ground earlier, and then we get the low point behind the golf ball, which is exactly what this client struggled with. Let me go show you that. Okay, so from here, as you guys can see, he's continuing now to steepen a little bit more, but then right around here is when you're gonna start seeing a big change in movement of the club shaft. You're going to watch how this club head right here really starts to drop low to the ground quite quickly, which again is raising the handle really drastically in this position here. So let's watch how that happens here. So as he starts to continue to go into the golf ball, from here the club is now really dropping low to the ground very early. And this is what's going to cause you to get a low point behind the golf ball, which this particular client's low point in the before swing was right around here. And then he actually hit up on the golf ball, which again was this top shot that you guys are seeing right here. So very interesting movement. Now, I've seen plenty of moves like this. However, this is definitely a little bit more in the severe case, but steepening in early transition, and then right around this position, the club shaft really starts to drop low to the ground early. The hands start to raise, and that's going to get your low point behind the ball, and then you're going to struggle again with good solid contact. So that was the before swing. Let's go take a look at the after swing and see what we changed. All right, so let's start out with early transition, and the main thing you're going to see with the after swing is you're going to now see that the club shaft, if anything, is slightly flattening in transition, but definitely in no means steepening or going the opposite way in transition. So let me kind of show you that real quick. So as we start to drop here, you can see the initial dropping, he's actually flattening of the club shaft. Now in our ideal preference, guys, we don't really like to see flattening or steepening in early transition. I just like to see lowering. However, if you're going from a player that's so steep in that early transition, if he's going the opposite way in the short term, not a big deal, not something you guys should be worried about. Now, as he continues to kind of go down now, we're seeing that the club shaft is actually just starting to fall now. So it's not really flattening anymore, it's just falling. and then continue to go down a little bit more. Now this next section, we do have a little bit of a steepening motion. However, because at position 5, which is roughly here, or a little bit before P5, he was so flat, I honestly don't mind that he was starting to steepen in this section, not a big deal. And then from here, as we kind of continue to go down, now we're getting into a position 6 where the club head is in line with the hands. So ultimately, even though it wasn't quite perfect with the way the club shaft moved, it ended up into a really good position, and it wasn't really doing any crazy movements like the before swing, so I was actually quite happy. Now from here, as he continues to go into the golf ball, because he's kind of moved the club shaft in a lot different fashion, what we're going to see now is the club head is not lowering to the ground as quickly, and at this point, what we're now starting to see is the handle height is a lot lower, and then the low point is actually right at the golf ball now, as opposed to maybe 3 inches or 4 inches behind, which again was the before swing. And that was a huge change in terms of his strike, right? His strike got a lot better. And then also another telltale sign in terms of like the handle height was going to be the swing plane, which we were on TrackMan, so we could measure that. And as you can see in the before, his swing plane was roughly averaging around 67, 68. And this swing, which you guys aren't going to be able to see it unfortunately because it cuts out before you get to see it, but he actually got all the way down to 59 with the swing plane. And that was actually a really, really big deal for this client. So if you guys see something like this in your own golf swings, I definitely want you guys to check out that early transition. It's really, really, really powerful if you guys can actually start getting that. Now, some last little take-home points for you guys here at home. I think the best way in terms of changing this is obviously first and foremost making sure that you have a camera set up with a tripod, making sure that you're checking this on analysis. And then also, I think the feeling that we gave this client that really was allowing him to do this at full speed was we were trying to feel like the club head dropped all the way behind his heel and touched the ground before he started to move the club head out towards the ball. Again, if you're one of these people that has this pretty severe kind of steepening motion here in early transition, that could be a really good feeling for you. Feel like that club head kind of stays like this all the way until it hits the ground behind your heel. If you can kind of have that feeling and do it at full speed, you're probably going to look a little bit closer to what he is over here, and I guarantee that you're probably going to start getting a lot better low point control if you guys can get a feeling similar to that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, what I want you guys to go do is check out our sponsor, which if you guys don't know who our sponsor is, it's Kiwi Golf Japan. That's right, it's my website. So I want you guys to go check that out. It's our membership site. There's a bunch of professional videos on there, as well as webinars, as well as entertainment videos, and we're going to be constantly kind of updating the site. And currently I think we have like 117 videos on the membership site after about 4 or 5 months of doing the membership site, and then hopefully within the first year we'll have closer to about 300 videos. So if you want to support this channel and continue to see free content, definitely go check out the membership site. It's a reoccurring subscription, 1,000 yen per month. It really, really helps us out continue making these free videos, as well as you're going to get a bunch of paid content which you're not going to be able to find on YouTube. So hope you guys enjoy that. Link will be down below, and other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.